navigate the different changes of outdoor.
Isn't she stunning? Can we give a big, huge round of applause for the lady behind the vision? She has done so much work behind the scenes. I asked them, I said, who does these banners and all this beautiful decor? This woman right here. So give it up for Karen Height.
Thank you, guys. I am so grateful to have you guys here, and I'm so happy to introduce the next person that's joining us. Something that it's very close to JC's and my heart is anytime that we do an event, this is an opportunity, I think, to give back, right? This is an opportunity for us to be grateful for all the blessings that we have. And I think if you're here today, it took you time, money, effort, having a team in place to be able to make it here. And I think it's important for us to recognize, how far we have come in business. I remember when we were first getting started and we were just trying to pay for our baby delivery, right? We had no savings, no insurance. It was a crazy time in our lives. And I was looking at, where we've been and how far we've come. And I think something that for us has been really meaningful is how can we give back all the stuff that we've been giving, all the stuff that we've been getting outside of money itself, but just intention, right? How do we get in a place, in a mindset where we are thinking about others than ourselves? I think today, in this day and age, we're all about sometimes us social media is so big on how many likes do you get? How many things who's recognizing you? And so for me, I think, and JC, it's really important to set a standard that in our events, we want to make sure that we share the spotlight a little bit with people that are doing way greater things than we are. And one of those is Thud from Timothy Hill. I would like to welcome him with a big applause, please. I'm going to introduce him. When you call my name, it's so Timothy Hill, if you haven't met them, they're an NGO organization. You're going to talk more about it. But we recently met them and we were in love with this NGO. And the reason is because you guys are truly living the word love. I remember when you guys were talking about how you're helping the kids that are not going to adoption, that are not going to the foster care system, and that are getting ready to go into the real world. And there was one line that you guys said that stuck with me, and it was, when you love somebody, you don't give them crumbs. If you go to their installations and everything that they have, I think you have how many acres? 75 acres. It's crazy how beautiful it is, but I want you to share with everybody here what Timothy Hill is all about, so that way we can see. And by the way, do we have our volunteers here from Timothy? Are they here? You guys see them in the back? These kids are amazing. So if you guys have seen some very happy faces, they are part of this organization, and we're just so happy to welcome you here. So big applause for him. Tell us about Timothy Hill, please.
Thank you very much. I'm going to just throw a few slides up here and give you guys a little background. So one of the things that Timothy Hill started with was a dream that was not birthed in a corporate boardroom. Just to go back and give a quick little background in history, my parents met here in the 50s. They married, they thought they would do some ministry, moved around to Alabama, Tennessee. They moved up to New York. They thought they would do some missionary work up there for a couple of years. And they had a life of fostering young people that were coming from very broken places. And so my oldest brother, being exposed to that, but also had a great love for God. He had a great love for people and had a great love for horses and outdoors, and bought himself a horse by the age of 12 years old. He told my parents, he said, when I get older, I want to have a ranch for the types of young people that I see you guys caring for. And so his life ended up being cut short, May 11th, 1972. So we're coming up on more than 5 decades of his passing. But one of the things that, as I think about the business leaders within this room and entrepreneurs in this room, that everybody has dreams, I wanted to just kind of highlight just the idea that this young man had the courage to articulate his dream. He had a circle of people around him where it was safe enough to be able to share the things that were on his heart. And so I think as people are dreamers and are thinking about dreaming big in various ways within your own businesses, within your communities, and within ministry, that the idea of having the courage to give a voice to the dream, I think is really critical. In the same way that we know that God created the universe through speaking it into existence, He's giving us great power to create with words of declaration. And so that's something that Timothy did. And as many of you might expect in your own lives and in your own stories, where you've started something and there's twists and turns and things didn't happen exactly as according to plan. And in our particular family, there was a tragedy of this accident. I was 3 months old at the time that he passed away. But it has been an amazing journey now to look back 50 years and see what God has done through the power of that dream. And so we're going to kind of highlight a couple of different things that Timothy saw within the home. He saw some serious problems that were happening within people coming from very broken places. And so we have had the opportunity over, again, the last 5 decades to get to speak into that and step into that and to encourage those who also have some dreams and have some hope about what they'd like to do and the vision that they have for their own lives. But often when you're coming from a beat up place, it's hard to see that right from the get-go. So creating some stability and some love in a community. But to honor Timothy's dream, we do that in a place that, as he quoted, has wide open spaces. So all of our campuses in the various states that we operate in have wide open spaces. They have horses, even on Long Island. My fun fact that I give people all the time, because I'm a proud Long Island boy that grew up there and came to college here, but other than Arkansas, it's the only place I've lived. The oldest horse and cattle ranch in America is on Long Island, Montauk, New York. It's Deep Hollow Ranch. It started in 1658. So I like to brag about that because I have a lot of proud Texan friends that like to brag about Texas stuff all the time. But just like to remind them that the Cowboys started in New York, that's all. But so just thinking about Jerry and Fern and the way that they demonstrated faith in the midst of tragedy, just again trying to relate to those in the audience today that are kind of dreaming and thinking about how God is working in your life and through your business. The idea of connecting your faith to a dream. What I heard, because of course I was 3 months old, but as I've kind of reheard the story and it's been told over and over again, how Jerry and Fern, they said yes to something that didn't make sense to a lot of other people. They started working and planning for this ranch to honor Timothy's dream before they can actually see the reality of it. And often when you are in a place of dreaming, but you're connecting it to faith, you are taking steps of action and saying yes, where you believe God has spoke to you to say yes to something, to a dream that's been given to you, without the full understanding of everybody around you. And so as we speak into the lives of young people, whether it's your children, your grandchildren, foster young people that we get to work with, we don't always know what the outcome is going to be. We don't know what the influence is going to look like, but we want to continue to speak into that. And when God is giving something and birthing something in your heart, we want to be able to operate from a place of faith. One of my mom's famous quotes that she said, a couple of them that she said was, "We're not meant to be people fixers, but seed planters." And within that you can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you cannot count the number of apples in a seed. And just really believe that we are called, as Jesus indicated in the parable of the sower, to cast a lot of seed. And sometimes it doesn't always fall on great soil, but if you cast enough seed, it's going to land in some good soil, and it's going to bring forth the harvest. So we have the privilege now to get to operate. It's actually 8 campuses in 5 states. And we actually just opened up in Louisiana just a couple of weeks ago. We've been working with the Department of Children and Family Services there over the last year and a half, and we're able to acquire 2 campuses. Too long of a story for me to tell you because we were only going down for 1 campus, but we've got 2, and we've asked, the commissioner there has asked us see if we'd open up a 3rd one. But here in Searcy, we obviously have a campus on the west side of town here, and get the privilege to work with the guys and come back home for me, so to speak. So far in 2025, we've had the privilege of working with young people from 17 states, and in 2024 served about 250 youth. We often work with a lot of the young people that everybody else says no to, including other agencies that say no to them, that are aging out of foster care. And there's a whole lot of layers that I can't get into today, but we do have a little video that we are going to show you for a few minutes that's going to give you a little bit of a visual of the power of this dream and how it's playing out.
foster care from the time I was 6, or to the time I was 4, to the time I was 6. I went through 12 homes in 1 month. I was a pretty bad kid.
I thought life was a joke, that there wasn't any rules or any anything I had to do past 18. I felt like everything would be handed down to me for the rest of my life.
When I first stepped into the door, it was just like, I don't know, it felt like a new home. You know, everybody was like, basically like a family at that time.
In my past, I've been taught nothing, taught to sit around, play video games. I mean, that's not how that works. Like, there's more to life than sitting behind a screen. Every chance they get us, I put my screen down and then I'll come out here. Like, there's more to Timothy Hill than just the rules. There's the freedom that you have, and there's the ability to learn things that you never have before.
Yeah, the dream of my life is wanting to start a family, wanting to grow my family in the Lord, and go to church and, you know, just pray, read my Bible, grow, like I said, grow my family in church. They don't look down on us for what we've done in the past. They just forget the past, and then they, like, almost like a newborn child coming into the world. They just like welcome you and love you. And
I feel like that this place, no matter what you do, it like always open arms. I feel like I've done some pretty wrong things in my lifetime, and I've always been like, well, nobody's gonna forgive me for anything that I've done. And this place is different. It gives you an opportunity to make a stand against all the odds that you've had and become the person that everybody knows that you're meant to be.
So we're grateful for JC and his wife to designate Timothy Hill as the designated charity for this event, and we just truly consider it an honor and privilege to get to serve the fatherless that are struggling to find community, to find hope. We obviously have an opportunity for you to join us. Just our newest project here in Arkansas was we bought 50 acres back in October, and we've been renovating a house to add 10 more beds for young people that there's a backlog of about 130 young people in this state that won't be received in maybe some other facilities because they're too tough or their paperwork's a little bit too hard with all the trauma and things that have gone on in their lives. So we're kind of taking a hard to place type young person that we're adding. We've raised about 1.3 million of the 1.5 million, so we have a little ways to go. And if people want to join in, we welcome it. We just appreciate the opportunity to get to serve. And thank you for letting us be here today. And thank you to my guys that got to serve and volunteer in the back too. So.
Get that code up again. I did not see enough phones go out for what this man is doing. Please scan that right now. Scan it. Scan it, scan it, scan it, send it to a friend. This is the hands and feet of Jesus, what he's doing. I'm so proud of the work you do. Amazing stuff. Thank you for your standing and applauding. Seriously, he's helping the lost that other people just forget about in the world. It breaks my heart and makes me cry. I'm so proud to be here with him. I want to welcome back to the stage now JC, hi, and his beautiful wife, Karen, hi.
How are we? Are y'all ready? We talked this morning about commitment, right? We talked about giving it all, and I think this is a great organization. I want to just put things in front of you again to get invested in, so we're really excited about that. You guys all know the next guests? Y'all know them? Yeah? Are y'all excited about this? Show me some excitement. Are we excited? There we go. Genuinely, what I love about the next couple, their success and all this great stuff, they've done so many incredible things, but what I love about them the most is that the entire time they've kept faith and family at the center point. And I love that. What an example for today's generation. Let's give it up for Willie and Corey Robertson. All right.
That was was a little bit different from Costa Rica. You remember?
Little different
Yeah.
than Costa Rica. Look at these guys.
I've never had fire when I come out. That's awesome.
I love it. It's a little pyro.
Had to come to Cersei for the fun stuff.
Little dangerous. All right, well, I got something a little different though, all right? What?
What?
Don't give me a hard time.
Why are you dressed
Let me
like that?
Don't get on to me.
This is a big deal.
Dude, I got jeans on just for y'all.
I'm just saying, like.
Willie
I
wore
don't
his
know.
dress bandana for y'all.
I had the
today.
colors of Harding University right here, so
Let's go.
thank you very much.
All right, guys, before we get started, we have something really special. Really special for you guys. Y'all have been such a blessing to so many people. Your journey started in Arkansas, and I want to talk about that here in a little while. But we've got a really, really special gift for you guys. Karen and I, we got a really special gift. Is that okay if we take a moment and give them a special gift? Is that cool? In fact, it's too special. We don't want to be the ones to give it to you. We think we've got to bring in someone really, really special to get this gift. Is that cool? Can we take a few minutes? Is that cool? All right, with that being said, I love for you guys to help me in welcoming the former press secretary and the current governor of the greatest state in the United States, the state of Arkansas, Governor Sanders, to the stage. Woo!
Did you get ZZ Top music too?
All right, not nearly as cool as these guys, but we want to, since your journey, a lot of it started here in Arkansas, we want to make you official Arkansans and give you an Arkansas traveler. And so we know that you claim another state as home, and that's okay. We know that you still have a lot of love for Arkansas, and so want to welcome you officially back to a very special place for the two of you and make you official Arkansans.
Oh, thank you so
Wow.
much. That's amazing.
Thank you.
amazing.
Does this mean I have to pay taxes here, or like what?
Absolutely.
This is great. So we've like toured around Cersei today a little bit, and it just brought back all the memories, because this is really where we started our marriage and our life together. Our family began right here. Whenever we left here, I was pregnant with our first son, John Luke. So it's really a special place for us. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Governor, are you staying?
Yeah, I'll stay.
Oh,
Is that
come on.
allowed?
Y'all want the
Yeah,
governor to hang
allowed.
around so we can ask some questions?
We'll switch.
This is unbelievable.
So nice.
Hey, Governor, I know you're like this too. Being back here, I finally became a big deal at Harding University and like in Cersei. And I know you're probably, to everybody going, hey, I'm the governor now. But it is fun now to be back here and be a big deal and actually be an official Arkansas traveler. So thank you so much.
I'm still waiting to be a big deal, but I'm hoping if I sit here with the two of you long enough, maybe some of that'll rub off on me. And
We walked around campus today, and of course, people were coming up and talking to us, and we was like, I was not near this popular last time I was here, not at all.
well, my 9-year-old son is with me, and he does not always like to go to official events, but he's a huge fan. And so this is one of the rare times where my kids are actually impressed by what I do. So I'm trying to earn as many cool points as possible. So thank you for helping make that happen.
And I gave him a duck call, so now you get to listen to a duck call all the way back to Little Rock. So
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Yeah, I came in as a fan. I may not leave as one because of that, but.
Huh?
Let's go.
Oh, am I asking? Now I'm the interviewer?
You want me to?
Why?
All right.
No, we can. Well, I do have one question. Well, actually, I have a couple of questions. But now, when your dad was the governor, were you in that house? Were you in the governor's mansion at that point?
I was. So my dad became governor when I was 13, just
Oh, okay.
shy of my 14th birthday.
So hopefully you were in the house. Yeah.
So I was, yeah. I actually actively lobbied not to be. My dad sort of became governor overnight. He was the lieutenant governor, and we lived in Texarkana. We did not live in Little Rock. And the governor resigned. My dad becomes governor, and I told my parents that that was a great life plan for them, but I didn't want to participate, and I was going to stay in Texarkana, live with my friends, but obviously that didn't work out for me, and I moved to Little Rock, and we lived in that house. My dad was governor for almost 11 years, so 13 when we moved in. I was 23 when we moved out, and it's still the place where my family has lived longer than any other, so a little bit of a wild journey for sure.
That's unbelievable,
Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Did you think you were like when you're laying in your bedroom at 12, were you like, I'm coming back here and I'm going to run this joint, you know?
At that point, I wanted...
Because that's what I would be thinking. Like,
that was pretty far from my mind at the age of 13. In fact, I wanted a totally different path and sort of accidentally became the White House press secretary. I never wanted to do something that was public facing and out in front. I always worked behind the scenes until that moment, and you know, the rest is kind of history, so it worked out pretty well.
the White House press secretary. That seems like the hardest job ever.
I hope it's the hardest job I ever have, but it's also one of the most rewarding and unbelievable opportunities I could have ever dreamed of, and to get to serve in that capacity and see and be part of history in that way is something certainly I never thought I would experience, even growing up in politics.
Wow. Now, I got another couple of questions.
I'm a
Governor,
little
when you gotta
nervous
leave, just
that
leave.
there's just free flow over here.
Do you ever call your dad and just be like, Dad, look, can I ask you a question about, you know, because that would be an awesome if your dad was that had the former job, because my dad had my job before I had my job, and so I'd go ask Dad, like, Dad, what do you think about this? So does that ever happen?
Absolutely. My dad has been very careful not to weigh in without being asked, which there are moments where I wish he would weigh in without being asked, but he usually waits on me to call him and ask for advice. And there have been several times that it's been incredibly helpful to have him as kind of my free phone-a-friend, to know that I have that kind of resource. And, you know, when I was growing up and even as an adult and even up until right now, if you asked my dad, he would tell you that being governor is the best job in the world. I heard it my entire life. And so right after I got elected and I was in the middle of the first couple weeks and going back and forth with members of the legislature, a few of which I see out here, a couple great legislators that I have the
Should
privilege.
we have them kicked out, or are
No,
they good?
these
Okay,
are the
they're
good ones. We like this group. We like the ones that are down there. But those first couple weeks, you know, are a little challenging. And so I called my dad and I was like, Dad, you know how you said being governor is the best job in the world? He's like, yeah. I said, how long does it take before that actually starts? And he kind of laughed, and in a way that only a parent can, he cut right to it, and he said, well, Sarah, to be honest with you, you haven't done anything. And I was like, ouch. I was like, Dad, I called you to give me encouragement. I'm sure you've never had an experience like that with your dad. But I called, and I said, Dad, I was looking for encouragement. He said, hold on, let me explain. He said, at some point, you're going to get through this session. You're going to get through some of these first challenging days, and you are going to have accomplished some really big things. And when you least expect it, when you're out at one of your kids' basketball games or you're at the grocery store, somebody's going to come up to you and tell you thank you for the work that you're doing. They're going to tell you that because of the work that you have done, their life is just a tiny bit better than it was before. He said, once you get to experience that, he goes, then you know why it's the best job in the world. And now that I've been in this role for 2.5 years, I understand exactly what he was talking about. And I love the experience and the opportunity. And we've been able to do some really remarkable things over the last couple of years.
Wow. I'm glad I'm a Arkansas native now. That's awesome.
I want to switch gears. Governor, we got a bunch of business leaders out here trying to integrate faith into everything they do, and you've been open about your faith. How has that really played a part in What's kind of been the exciting part about implementing that throughout your journey as governor?
I think if your faith is true and authentic, then it's the defining part of who you are. And for me, there have been unbelievably challenging and difficult days, certainly during my time in the White House and now as governor. And without faith, I honestly don't know how people get through those moments. And without knowing that I don't need, frankly, the world or the crowd to give me validation, because I have a creator who has already given my life purpose and already given me meaning. If you don't have that, I think it's really hard to go through and serve in a role like this. I'm thankful for it. It gets me through the most challenging days. It also gives me a reason to continue pursuing. And so knowing that I have a God who created me, defined me, and gave me purpose is what gets me through the most difficult days, but also gives me reason to celebrate in the great moments too.
Oh, that's beautiful. Give it up for that. That's amazing. Yeah. Now, your kids backstage, we talked about that a little bit. We've tried to integrate our kids as much as possible in the work. Now, this is double-sided, right? You grew up in the spotlight, and now your kids. How are you integrating them as much as possible into the work and get them around? Or are they not interested at all?
It depends on the day. Moments like this, they want to come and be part of it. But one of the things I learned from my parents is that it's important for our kids to understand why we're serving, why we're doing what we do, and it's a lot easier for them to understand that when they see it firsthand. When we take our kids with us as much as possible. I did learn the hard way that taking all three of my kids at one time was not a great idea. Yeah. Our kids are now almost 13. We're a couple weeks shy of having a teenager, which we're prepping and really bracing ourselves for. And then I have two boys that are 11 and 9. And when I started at the White House, our kids were 5, 3, and 1. So it was pure and total chaos at work and at home. And I do think, though, that being a parent of young children prepared me for going into the briefing room. In fact, I like to say it was probably the best preparation I could have ever had, because I had to say no a lot, and I had to answer the same question over and over and over again. And so parenting was perfect for that. But I learned that our kids seeing firsthand what we were doing, why we were doing it, is really important. I experienced that through my parents, and it's something that we've tried to incorporate as much as possible